Hi, it's Art, short for Artemy, and you can find me at CU Artist pretty much everywhere. Yesterday, I finally sat down and worked on something that has been on my to-do list for a while, and that is redoing the thumbnails that I had for Webtoon and Tapas. I made them in a rush to get the promotion video out that I was working on, and since I was making a video and the comic and getting my website to be passable, I really didn't have a ton of time to put into the thumbnails. So I just used the cover page for the longer thumbnail that they have, and I did come up with an original one for the square thumbnail, and I did mostly like it. I liked how the composition and colors were working, but the character's face was just a little bit off from what I wanted. But I knew I would be able to go back and change that later, so I wasn't going to stress out about it too much. So I have been, preparing with the composition for the longer thumbnail for a little bit, just trying to think of something that would work. I know that it's not ideal to have more than, 2 characters in one, but I really did want to get all 4 of the seasons in, so I just was trying to figure out how to make that work and look dynamic and not bad. So yeah, I have been looking at the thumbnail and it was just kind of still bugging me, so I finally yesterday was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit down and deal with this. And then once I finished that, I was like, oh, I should try and redo the longer thumbnail while I'm in this zone. So I really didn't make a ton of changes to the square thumbnail. I even used the same leaf magic effect that I had from the previous one. I really just kind of made Sixie more like Sixie is. But I am glad I have the more cartoony one still, because I am going to leave it as that for the icon for the webcomic ring. Since it is such a small image, I'm really glad to have that more cartoony version, because it reads better very small. Yeah, so that was fun. I think they turned out cute. I also was fixing up my website a little bit more yesterday. I finally got the About page fixed up, and that was one that I have had on my to-do list for a little bit. Something in the coding was making it so that the formatting was a little wonky and just did not look good. And it's nothing special now, but it looks like a reasonable web page, so I'm glad that that is dealt with. There's still things I'm going to want to adjust and add on to along the way, but it is good enough for now, I think. Something I think is kind of amusing is I just offhandedly did a quick Instagram reel of the finished thumbnails once I was done with them, because I was like, I always see this trend of it's Finished Work Friday, share a finished piece if you're an artist, and I never actually have a finished piece that I can show, since comics take so long and I have been saving them for my buffer. I can't really just show all of my finished art willy-nilly. And a lot of the more illustration-y pieces I do end up being commissions, so also can't just show those randomly. So I was like, oh, I finally have 2 finished pieces that I can show, and it is actually a Friday that I'm doing this on. So I just quickly uploaded that, and it was I don't know, probably 10 at night my time, so definitely later, so I was not expecting much of that, but somehow it kind of blew up a little bit, so now there's over 600 likes, which is very good for my Instagram, and I also gained a decent amount of more followers, so that was not expected, but I'm glad, and I definitely hope that that bodes well for, the icons bringing in more people on Webtoon itself. If people were that enthused by just a quick little reel of it on Instagram, I'm hoping that they will be a lot more of a draw for people to actually click on the comic. Yeah, so that is all I have for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you tomorrow.